So thank you guys for making it to this part of the video series. This video is going to be strictly on selling your home before the foreclosure. So I want to go over 3 ways that I've done and helped my clients in the past. That is 1, listing with an agent. 2, selling directly to an investor, home buyer, cash buyer. And then the third one is if you need to. So I'm going to go over a couple of the pros and cons for each situation, but I'd also so the first option that we have would be there are pros and cons to hiring a real estate agent to sell your property. Some of the pros would be that you can try to sell your property for the highest amount possible. Another one would be that you have maximum exposure. And then the third that I think would be that you have access to all types of buyers. You have your investors, but you also have your mom and pop, your first time home buyers. The reason that's important is because those type of loan terms, bank financing, they typically can loan somebody that's a first time home buyer a higher price point and willing to give them, more for the property, more to spend. So those are good pros. Now, some of the cons would be that if your home is in a condition where it needs to be repaired, it needs to be staged, it needs to be cleaned to be publicly shown for sale, that's something that would have to be an expense paid by you, maybe paid by with the agent, or you guys team together to sell that. So that could be seen as a con. Another thing would be that it's uncertain that what you'll get for the property, right? You're testing the open market. Now, if you have a good agent, they're going to price it correctly. They're going to know what the current value of the property is in its condition. So, but that's also a con, right? You're playing the market, taking a bit of a gamble, especially when you're going through foreclosure. The other two things would be that it does take time to sell. Typically, homes that sell in the market, they sell anywhere from about 30 to 60 days. So, considering you have that much time to try the open market to get the top dollar, this can be seen as a con if you don't. And then finally, if you're looking for privacy, I know you're already having people come to your door, knock on it, send you mailers, phone call you about your foreclosure. Well, now you just lost all privacy as far as now they know the home is for sale. It's on Google, it's on Zillow, it's on the MLS, it's on Redfin. They can put your address and they see it on the internet. So you lose lack of. Now take a look at this example. I'm going to give you guys some numbers.
When you're listing with the agent, let's take into consideration the fees that come with it. So let's say the agent suggests that we try to sell this property at $300,000. Now take into account the fees that come with this. One being the commission cost. Typical costs are 6% of the sales price. In this case, it's going to be about $18,000. Then we have repairs. In today's market, since you're going to try to sell this on market, you're going to work with traditional home buyers. If there's anything wrong with your property, they're going to try to ask for those repairs. Either you fix them or you give them a credit on the sale price. In this case, we'll give them a credit. And we'll do worst case scenario. Let's say in this example, they ask for $20,000 in repairs. So we're going to give it to them. Next, we have closing costs. Closing costs are typically 1.5% to 2% of the sale price. In this case, we'll do 1.5%, which is $4,500. Now remember, we still have a mortgage to pay off to the bank. And let's say for the sake of the example, we owe the bank $200,000 still. And then remember the arrears. This is what they're foreclosing on. We missed payments. And let's say for the arrears, we still owe $15,000 of missed payments. So if we successfully sell the property on the market, we should roughly be walking away with $42,500.
So number 2 would be to sell to an investor. Now, obviously, this has its pros and cons. Some of the pros would be that they buy fast, as is. They don't ask for any repairs. They can close, as I've seen some being closed as quickly as 3 days to 7 days to 14 days. And, you avoid foreclosure. This helps you if you're in a time crunch. Let's say you have an auction date that is set for a week from today. This could be your solution. Now, some of the cons, and I think the two biggest one is that first of all, you limit yourself to the buyer pool. You're working, hopefully, if you have someone helping you sell your property, you're working with maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 investors qualified, but you're stopping yourself from having any more than that or having a wide pool than listing with an agent. The second reason would be that it's a con would be a lot of times I see that this, you're taking a significant hit on the price you get for the property. A lot of investors like to buy between 75% to 80% of what the home value is, depending on the condition, right? That's not every scenario. If your home is in a bad condition, it could be what the property is actually worth to fix it up and get it ready for a new family. But that would be some of the cons that I see. Biggest ones would be those two. But I want to show you guys a couple of examples of what this could look like.
To an investor, let's go ahead and use an example of the home is valued at 300,000. The investor is going to offer somewhere around 70 to 75%. Let's say in this case they offer you 70% of the home's value. So in this case, it's $210,000. Now keep in mind this offer is because they don't ask for any repairs, and they usually, typically 99% of the time, cover all the closing costs. The only thing they don't cover is that mortgage payoff. You need to cover it, and the arrears. So let's say for the sake of the example, what you still owe to the bank is 170 in the mortgage payoff. And let's say in the arrears, you still owe the bank $15,000. In this scenario, you would still walk away with about $25,000.
Now, the third option we have would be to do a short sale. Now, in the last video, I went over what a short sale was and an example, so I won't have it here, but the pros and cons to a short sale would be the pros being that you get to avoid foreclosure. That's the main one, that's the biggest one. The other would be that they forgive some of the debt that's owed to the bank. Not to say it goes away, but in occasions and in some instances, I've seen it just been wiped. And then the third would be that it's less damaging to your credit than getting a foreclosure on your record. Now, as far as the cons is that this is a very complex sale. You need to hire a real estate agent that has done short sales in the past and successfully done short sales. The second and third thing would be that it's not a for sale, not a for sure sale, meaning that you can still negotiate with the bank and they approve a short sale. But if you test the market and you don't get the price that the bank is willing to take, as far as less for what the value is, then you just wasted all that time trying to do a short sale, and time is not what you had. So it could be a waste of time as well. Now, I say this to say that this is an option. Those are the three cons, but this is still something that if you're in a pickle. And I want to summarize the three, make it quick and simple for you. If you're working with an investor, just remember, could be less money, but it's fast and it's a no hassle sale. If you're working with an agent to list the property, you can get more money, but the outcome is uncertain. And if time is not on your side, that might not be the best solution for you. And the third would be if you're doing a short sale, you have to have the bank's approval. In conclusion, I would say just make sure that you take control of your future.